right, hello everybody. Kate Johnson from The Art of Cheese at Briargate Farm for day 5 of 5 days on a cheesemaker's farm. So I don't know if you've been joining me up till now, but this is the last of our 5-day series. And we've been coming to you on both Facebook and Instagram twice a day for 5 days. So this is our last one, and let me tell you what we've done up to this point, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do today. So on day 1, we bottle fed the baby goats. I do have baby goats right outside my door, and about half of them are on bottles and half of them are nursing with their moms. And if you're curious about that and you didn't join us earlier, go back and look in my feed from a few days ago and you'll learn all about bottle feeding baby goats. And then on day 2, we went in the milk house and milked the mamas. So we learned all about milking dairy goats, and that was really fun. Then on day 3, we started processing the milk and getting our cheese started. So we pasteurized the milk, and then we started our Chevre, and then we continued our Chevre, and then we continued it some more, because if you were watching, you see that Chevre is a pretty simple cheese, but it has a lot of little steps over about 24 to 48 hours. So we finished our Chevre this morning and flavored it all kinds of fun ways. We made a honey Chevre. We made Chevre with pesto and sun-dried tomatoes. We made a Chevre with an herb salt on it. We made a chives Chevre. And then I promised I'd bring you back tonight and teach you how to make chocolate Chevre truffles or chocolate truffle Chevre or both. So we're actually going to do both, and I'll explain what the difference between the two is. All right, so we only have about 10 minutes to do this, so we're going to get right into it because I have to go from here over to Instagram. So I'm going to turn it around here and just show you my setup. So this was a little bit of our Chevre that was left over. We did a lot with it, so I don't have a lot of Chevre left. And if you want to see this exact recipe, it is somewhere back in my Facebook feed on a Friday. I do a Foodie Friday thing. It's probably on my website too, but I'll kind of walk you through it. I don't really even measure. So, you know, this is probably maybe 2 to 3 ounces of Chevre. I use a little Chevre and then just cocoa powder, unsweetened cocoa powder. Sprinkle it in there till it looks right. It's about a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder if you had 4 ounces of Chevre, but I usually don't measure. And then this is a little powdered sugar. We'll put about the same amount of powdered sugar as we put in cocoa powder. All right, and that's it. It's Chevre. You could do this with homemade Chevre, or if you don't make your own Chevre, you could do this with store-bought Chevre. And now this is going to be a little noisy, but we're going to put this all in the food processor and blend it up. So hold your ears. Might be a little noisy. All right, so if it does stop and it looks pretty, you know, this looks pretty dry right here. Usually what I find is if I just kind of move it around a little bit and keep whirling, as it warms up, it starts to come together. And the firmer you can make this and the less extra moisture you put in there, I like it better. But if you need to, you could put a few little spoonfuls of cream in there. But let's see if we can get this to stick together. There it goes. Excellent. So did you see how that started coming together in a solid form? Yeah, so that's exactly what I wanted it to do. All right, so now I'm going to turn this around again, and what I'm going to do is take some clean hands, and I'm just going to pull that out. So these would be what I call chocolate truffle Chevre, in that the flavor is chocolate, so we could call it chocolate truffle, but it's still Chevre. So do you see how I've just got now this piece of chocolate cheese, right? And I'm just going to roll it either in clean hands or I've got gloves on into a little ball like that. And then you can roll this either in a mixture of more of that cocoa powder and powdered sugar, or I like to just use hot cocoa. So this is just a hot cocoa mix, and I like to just roll it in that because it's already sweetened and it has kind of a nice little extra festive flavor. And there you go. It is a chocolate truffle Chevre. In other words, it's a piece of chocolate cheese. So I always tell people, when you're eating one of these, before you put it in your mouth, don't think to yourself, oh, this is a piece of chocolate candy. Think of it as this is a piece of chocolate cheese, as in cheesecake. It really does taste like a little bite of chocolate cheesecake. And a little bit goes a long way. This is pretty rich. Now, I used regular milk chocolate powdered cocoa. You could use dark chocolate powdered cocoa. And I would store these in the refrigerator till you're ready to serve them. They're best served very cold because they do get a little bit too soft when they sit out at room temperature for a long time. It's not that they'll go bad. It's a cultured cheese. It was made at room temperature. But you can just see I'm just rolling these little things in my cocoa powder. So I'll turn this back around just so you can see how that's looking. So there we go, little pieces of chocolate cheese. So yummy. All right, now the difference between a piece of chocolate truffle Chevre and a chocolate Chevre truffle is a chocolate Chevre truffle is actually a piece of candy. So what I've done over here is I took some Chevre. It could just be this. You could have taken the chocolate Chevre as your filling, but this was the honey Chevre that I made earlier today. I rolled it in little balls and I froze it. So these are little hard frozen balls of honey Chevre. And then over here I have some melted chocolate chips. And this is just, I like this Ghirardelli 60% chocolate, but you could use any kind of chocolate. And I've already melted it. And I'm just going to roll this little frozen piece of cheese in the chocolate. And I'm doing this all one-handed while videotaping, so it's a little sloppy. But you can see I can put it on a little piece of wax paper there, and then the coldness of the Chevre keeps it from melting in your chocolate, and it'll also get your chocolate to cool off and set up really quickly. Now I've got a little bit of a cocoa-infused sea salt, and of course my hands are a mess. I would do this with the other hand. But this, I just got this at King Soopers. It's great as just a little bit of salt on top. Okay, so those are kind of messy because I did them one-handed, but when I move them away from the wax paper, they'll look like a little piece of chocolate. And so once those thaw, then that inside will be really creamy, and it is cheese, but it's either you've put a chocolate cheese on the inside, or in this case, a honey cheese. You could make a honey lavender Chevre and put it in there. And then it's a little piece of candy, and it is so, so good. All right, so that is the difference between chocolate truffle Chevre and chocolate Chevre truffles. All right, so that is kind of the final thing that I'm going to do with this Chevre. I'm going to come back and do this again on the Instagram channel. And before I leave you tonight, we'll go out and say hi to the goats one last time, or say goodbye to the goats. But I wanted to just tell you, this was our last session in this series, 5 Days on a Cheesemaker's Farm. But I think it was a fun way to keep connected with you all, and it gave me a fun little structure to my day. So I've decided going forward, I'm not going to do it twice a day, every day on 2 channels. That was a bit much. But I am going to come back twice a week, and I'm going to do 2 different series every week, but at the same time. So Monday mornings at 9 a.m., we will have Monday mornings in the milk house. And we're going to meet in the milk house, and while I'm milking goats, I'm going to talk to you about goats, farm life, homesteading, answer questions, but it'll be kind of a casual chit-chat in the milk house. And of course, we'll get to visit with the goats every day. So that'll be Monday mornings, 9 a.m. I will do it here at 9 a.m., and I'll do it at Instagram at 9:30, okay? Because I feel like having a little bit more time in between would be nice. And then on Fridays, every Friday at 5 o'clock and 5:30, we will have Friday Fromage on the farm, and that will be kind of a cheese-making segment. So we will meet back here in the cheese-making room at Fridays at 5 on Facebook, 5:30 on Instagram, and we'll do a live session, kind of a question and answer thing. So if you come with questions, I will actually answer your questions. I'll also come prepared with some little bit of information and education, some tips. I get a lot of questions on email, so even if you personally haven't asked me a question, I'll be bringing questions to those Friday Fromage on the Farm sessions. All right, so if you've just kind of tuned in, the game plan is Monday mornings in the Milk House at 9 a.m. here on Facebook every Monday, and then Friday Fromage on the Farm at 5 o'clock on Friday. So that's the plan, and we'll just see how that goes. We also have lots of cheese making classes now on Zoom, and very soon we're going to be launching something called Cheese Chat on Zoom. I see that Joe is watching, and Joe is a graduate of our 7-day cheese challenge, so he'll be invited to Cheese Chat. Anybody who has come to any of our Zoom classes is going to be getting invited to our weekly sessions on Zoom, and they just are part of your registration fee when you come to a Zoom class. And there'll be a live question and answer session, show and tell session, troubleshooting session, and they'll vary from time to time, but you'll get invited each week to when that one is. And then we will record those so people who couldn't make it to the live session can at least tune in and hear what we discussed. All right, so that's what's coming up. We've got Monday mornings in the Milk House starting at 9 o'clock next Monday. We've got Friday Fromage on the Farm starting at 5 o'clock next Friday. Okay, so that is it. If you just joined us, you may have missed our little session on, we made chocolate truffle Chevre. That's a chocolate piece of cheese. And then we made chocolate Chevre truffles. They're a little messy because I was doing it one-handed, but it is a melted chocolate coated piece of cheese. And now we will go out and see the goats one last time before I have to switch over to Instagram and do this all again. So babies, I don't think have been fed yet. I will have to, yeah, see, you can see them. They're just seeming oh so desperate. Oh, we're starving to death. And they see me coming, but I don't have bottles for them. I'm going to do it later, or else Brian, my husband's going to do it. So, can you guess which 4 are the bottle babies? Here they are, right at the gate, right? And you can see the other 3. There's one. That's Rachel. Let's see if we got Monica and Dixie. There they are. And they're looking at the other gate because they're looking for their mamas, because mommies just came in from the pasture and they haven't been reunited yet. Because before I reunite them, I'm going to give those 3 girls a little bottle too to get them a little friendlier. They're getting a little wild. By about a month, little Nubian babies, if they're completely dam raised, get so wild you can't catch them. So I start putting them on a bottle once a day so that they friendly up a little. These 4 though are friendly to a fault. Like I cannot walk through the barnyard without them tripping me. So, and then we'll just say goodbye to the big girls before I hop over to Instagram. All right, bye big girls. And next time, well, in a few weeks, we will have new babies, and then we'll have to have a whole new baby segment. There's Mama to be. She's getting ready. I actually went to a goat birth today. So a goat that I sold to my good friends Joe and Sue last year had babies today, and I just went over to check in on things and help one of the little babies get up to nurse. She was a little funny in her feet, but she got better as the day went on. All right, so that's it for this little segment, and hopefully I'll see some of you on Monday and Friday starting next week. And thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day or evening. Bye-bye.